Ready to go? Is this on? Polka dots. Can you hear me? Perfect. So, let me introduce ourselves. I'm Mark McCoy, Department Chair of Comparative Literature at the University of Pennsylvania. Distinguished professor, author of several nonfiction books on the Brontes and Byron. And this is Rebecca, my wife.
The Associate Professor of English at Penn State University.
Sorry about that. I wanted to give Rebecca a chance to introduce herself. As Henry James had a woman say in one of his novels, I have never allowed a gentleman to interfere with anything I do. Daisy Miller, I think it was.
We are very excited to be here today to discuss Charlotte Bronte. I understand that we have some Bronte fans in the audience.
Fun fact about Rebecca to all you Bronte fans. She was determined to write her PhD thesis on Milton, but would secretly and compulsively read books about the Brontes.
I'd been reading Milton for a year before I picked up Jane Eyre. And what can I say? I fell in love.
A powerful illusion. Love.
Well, we all know how it is. You're at a work party you have zero desire to be at, and you've been grading for an eternity, and all you want to do is sleep. And then you see someone intriguing across the room, and that's it, you're awake.
I had to tell Rebecca, Charlotte Bronte's not bad for you. Like sugar or Chardonnay or a French poetry professor who fancies he's Baudelaire, which between us, he is not. It's obvious you can't help yourself. So you should write your thesis on the Brontes, which she did. Of course, with my background and whatnot, I offered some assistance. Fast forward, and here we are.
In my book, Brontomania, I talk about how and why three reclusive and socially awkward sisters became celebrities. You know, in the 1800s, women were wives. Women were not writers. You know what? This won't work. Can we stop the cameras, please?
Please excuse us. We're hashing out a few minor issues with our presentation.
You alluded to Jean-Pierre.
I did not. It was you who alluded to Jean-Pierre.
I was talking about Jane Eyre.
You were reminiscing about the first time you saw him at the faculty party.
I was only saying that the passion in the book overwhelmed me, but I was putting it in terms that, anyone could understand.
I forgot all about your egalitarian principles.
You cannot mention Jean-Pierre. You cannot mention Jean-Pierre in my book presentation. Okay?
Fine. But just for the record, he did not study at the Sorbonne. He went to the University of Nanterre. I looked it up.
I never said Jean-Pierre went to the Sorbonne.
You didn't? Are you sure?
Can we go on, Mark? Won't happen again. Really very sorry.
We're good to go now. We really are. The Brontes wanted their work to be valued on its merit, apart from the fact that they were women, so they veiled their identities under masculine nom de plume. Admittedly, their popularity was precisely due to the fact that their book revealed women's experiences.
And because they were so popular, I wanted to write a book, a scholarly book, that was fun and accessible. So in my book, you'll find glossy photographs of the Bronte family home and the girls' school in Brussels, where Charlotte and Emily studied languages.
The photos were one aspect of the book Rebecca and I disagreed about. They were fascinating, but let's be honest, having so many glossy photographs in a book of its kind was slightly inappropriate.
Loved them.
The photos were all in color, distracted from Rebecca's in-depth research. In spite of its catchy title, as you can imagine, I had a few issues with it. Brontomania is not a coffee table book. It's a serious literary theory.
The photographs will show the actual places where the Brontes studied and lived. It is my goal to dispel the myth of the Brontes as mystical children of nature.
There's a movie or a TV series about the Brontes every year. Their legacy does not need more dissemination into mass culture, does it?
They're being misrepresented. Charlotte wasn't sexy. She had no teeth. They fell out from malnourishment. She was very embarrassed about that. Have you seen Viola Gomez, the actress they chose to play her? Great teeth.
Viola Gomez is perfect for that role. She has teeth, it's true, but she also has the necessary depth to play Charlotte. It's imperceptible, but it's there.
During her extensive online correspondence with Mark, Viola used the word existentialism in a sentence and then followed that up with a thinking face emoji. Mark was very impressed.
Viola Gomez is a Byron admirer. She had read my book on him cover to cover, a fact which speaks volumes about her intellectual curiosity. My publisher is a university press that draws the public's attention to esoteric books. In other words, it caters to a select audience. Rebecca went with HarperCollins, obviously a very different publisher, but perhaps suitable for a book titled Brontomania.
Mark's book about Emily Bronte was titled, wait a minute, what was it? Ekphrasis in a Gothic Complex, a stylometric analysis.
Wrong. That was not my book about Emily Bronte. That was my book about the book about Emily Bronte. But back to the question of Bronte's authenticity in the TV adaptation. Impressed with my writing, Viola sought my expertise on London of the 1800s, as well as my input on Charlotte's mental state during the last years of her life. She does her homework.
Homework? When did she have time for homework? When she was busy making all those Disney movies?
That was several years ago, Rebecca. After her consultation with me, Viola's transformation was so immediate that the show's producers hired me as a period advisor on the show. You've all seen how she looks?
Yeah. Well, maybe you should have given her some input on the acting, too.
The sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, says Oscar Wilde.
But the highest form of intelligence.
Can we stop rolling, please? Thank you. Please allow us a much-needed moment of consultation. You're right, it's not going to work.
This has to work. I promise this will be a very brief interruption.
You didn't need to bring up Viola.
The TV series is relevant. People want to hear about that.
Nothing happened between Viola and me, you know that.
I know the possibility of her not going for you never crossed your mind.
Viola and I have a professional relationship that's based on our mutual appreciation of British literature.
Because if you had thought for one moment that she might not go for you, you wouldn't have asked me for an open relationship.
I did not suggest an open relationship because of Viola. I wanted us to meet new people, expand our horizons, and grow. But you seem so disturbingly unperturbed at the suggestion.
Did you think I'd start crying or something? An open relationship sounded fun.
You certainly did not cry. The mere mention of an open relationship, you agreed.
Did you not want me to?
No! And I did not want you to go to a party that same night and meet Jean-Pierre. And I did not want him to be available. I didn't want him to write poetry. It's kind of good. University of Nanterre, no.
Jean-Pierre. Yeah. Well, look, maybe Viola will get tired of that blonde superstar, the sexiest man alive, according to People magazine. But, what does all of that mean, really? It's so superficial.
When I was a kid, my mother would always go on business trips. My heart hurt as soon as she left the house. I read Dickens over and over. When she came back, I'd tell her all the stories I had read. She was always impressed. Rebecca, when you didn't come home that night, my heart hurt again. When I saw you the next morning, I realized there was no story I could tell you to impress you. You've heard all my stories.
There is one story you could tell that would impress me.
Which one?
You tell me, Mark.
She had been asking me questions for about an hour. In-depth questions. Questions about the one subject I know in the world I know everything about. Her attention went to my head. I extrapolated, foolishly. On my way home from our meeting, I thought if I didn't write to her right away, some calamity might happen. That's how that embarrassingly long email I sent her came about. When I saw you that night, I felt so guilty. I blurted out nonsense. It was a momentary madness, Rebecca. What could someone like me do with an open relationship? My head would explode.
Jean-Pierre is back in France.
Thought he was teaching for a semester.
No, he only taught a few workshops. He left last week.
He's in France. Jean-Pierre is in France, where he belongs, because he's French Jean-Pierre. And you're here. You're right here.
I'm here. Hi, yeah.
Rebecca, listen. I'll always be here too. You'll never have to worry about that. Let's go on. We can do this. I swear we can.
It'll be a long time before you and I are okay again.
I know. But what does it matter? We're together. And for what it's worth, nobody watches book TV. It's a bit dull even for people like us. Nothing personal, folks.
I'm more worried about tomorrow, if I'm being honest. Not that I don't value our time here together.
Well, if we'll be on that public access station, nobody watches that either.
We'll be on Good Morning America.
That's funny.
I'm serious. We really will.
You're telling me that this country, America, wants to hear about Charlotte Bronte first thing in the morning? Unbelievable.
Well, what can I say? Brontomania.
Well, at least it's just the one interview left, right?
We do have another on Friday. We'll be on a show called The View. You probably don't know it. It's a comfy sofa, beverage, friendly chat with some charming women, very low key.
I know that show. It was on once while I was at my doctor's office. I almost left without seeing my doctor. Can you do these shows by yourself? I think you should.
Well, they said that having the advisor of the TV series on the show would be interesting to America.
That could never be interesting to America. My sensibilities have always been British. Since first grade, I've come to the terms with the realization that there is very little I can contribute to the country where I was mistakenly born. Did they actually say that? Did they really want me?
They did.
Well, all everyone talks about lately is you. This is your moment, Rebecca. You should enjoy it alone. Why do you want me with you?
Because you helped me. You woke up with me at dawn and told me to write. You said that my book was good when I didn't think that it was. You read draft after draft. You gave me notes. We don't agree on everything, but I value your opinion. So let's do this together. It's fair.
So you really want me there?
I do.
Oh, we're ready. No more interruptions.
All sorted out. So, Charlotte Bronte created strong female characters in a society where women were expected to be self-denying and dutiful and have no passions of their own.
Look, let me tell you about Charlotte.